what can that person do to be supportive of their partner to help them navigate that journey?
Yeah, so when I brought up codependency to my partner, they didn't know what it was. And to be honest with you, I didn't know what codependency was like a couple of years ago either. I thought it was something that, only women of alcoholic husbands had. But um, so it's, she didn't know what codependency was, and it scared her a little bit. But she listened to a lot of podcasts on codependency, and it meant so much to me that somebody was willing to invest their time and energy into something that was important to me. And I was on a recovery journey, and she wanted to know, how do I support this person? And she became this sounding board for me. And so sometimes something happens, and I go, okay, I'm getting this feeling in my stomach. Like, I feel anxious. I don't know what's happening here. And then there's no offense taken by anybody. It's like, okay, well, why do you think you're feeling like what just happened that we need to kind of work on? And then we both become curious as to like why I'm feeling uneasy. So I had to recognize that I had some physical cues that would tell me when something was wrong. And my partner was able to kind of jump in and work on like why I was feeling that way and where that comes from. So it's been a learning journey, and um, it's something that we need to work at all the time, every day. And but she's very supportive, and I think in this whole process, she's recognized that she has some baggage too. And for the first time ever, she is dealing with things that have been bothering her. So we're just kind of each other's sounding boards, and we talk through things. And so it's being able to, and sometimes you can recognize something in the other person that, hey, have you ever noticed that you do this? And then that person's like, oh, I hadn't really thought about that. So just being there in a non-judgmental way for the other person, and just being able to talk through some of these things has just been like so wonderful.
How important is that part, the communication and being able to talk through what one person in the relationship is struggling with or what the relationship is struggling with?
Yeah, so you need to feel safe to be able to bring things up. And sometimes you're going to say something that hurts the other person, and you need to be okay with hearing things that are, going wrong, or something that you might be going wrong. You need to feel okay with that, because the other person needs to feel safe to be able to bring it up. And communication is such a big part of that. And having that safe place where you can talk about what's going on is going to help. And once you get past whatever it is that was bothering you, your relationship's just that much stronger. And you learn how to, you kind of have to teach people how you want to be treated, and the other person needs to teach you how they want to be treated. And you need to have a partner who's willing to talk to you about these things and figure it out together.
There's always this joke that I make that as we were born, year one, year two, year three, year four, all the way to year five, we learn how to talk. We can sound words, vowels, consonants, everything, right? But when it comes to communication, that's the test because some people think talking and communication is the same thing. I was like, no, talking
No.
is you can sound words, right?
Mhm.
Tell me how you feel. Tell me how you experience. Tell me how to treat you the way that you want to be treated. What do you think then are some of the obstacles that maybe couples face when it comes to having healthy communication in their relationships?
Yeah, sometimes we're not good listeners. And when someone is, telling us something, we might jump and immediately start defending ourselves. And or we're already, the person's not done talking, and we're already thinking about, how am I going to respond to this? How am I going to defend myself? So really needing to listen to what the other person is saying is probably one, a big key. And being able to say how you truly feel, and knowing that potentially it might hurt your partner. And that it just takes a lot of courage, and to do those things. And your partner needs to be able to tell you what's going on in their world as well. and they need to feel a sense of safety around that.
That was something that I had to learn that not everyone knew. It's like apologizing, right? Like when you have a form of communication and you go to someone and you say that, you know what, Angela, this behavior that you did a week ago, it bothered me, but I want to make sure that the timing and the place was right to have the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing when it comes to people addressing something because I recently was reading something. It talks about the turf, the tone, and the timing, meaning that the location, the tone, and the timing of it. You know, there's this joke online where you go out for a girls' night or a boys' night and your partner's waiting up looking at the door, sitting in the sofa when you go home because they're so upset that you went out somewhere they didn't know. The timing is not the best. The tone definitely is not
Yeah.
going to be good, right? So I share that because sometimes we forget that the way we want to say something is the way that we would want to hear it. But sometimes the way we would want to say something may not resonate in the way that we think it's going to resonate with our partner. For you, when you identified some of the things that you're going through, what did you do for yourself now to be able to express this to your partner, knowing that they would understand it and get it?
So it took a long time before we got to the point where they would understand it and get it. It became a lot of, you know, I feel uncomfortable with this. I don't know why. Can you give me just give me a couple of hours to kind of be by myself, and I love you. I'm going to come back. I want to talk about this. But you're right. Sometimes the turf is not, it's, you're not in the right place. You're not in the right mindset. Maybe you've had a couple of alcoholic beverages and it's not the right time to communicate. But like when I grew up with a parent who gave the silent treatment and something would happen and then disappear. And um so I think communication comes in with, like, I need to say, I want to talk to you about this, but I can't do it right now. Can we come back to this in half an hour tomorrow? Um, so I think just kind of putting it out there that this is something that you want to talk about. This isn't a great time for me. I need to think about things, and but let's get back to it. Um, rather than forcing a conversation when the timing's not right. You've had a little bit to drink, and this, like, the timing's just not good to have a good honest conversation, where we can be open. So I think everybody needs to be in the right frame of mind to have good, healthy communication. It's not always going to be when the thing is happening. Sometimes it needs to be at a different time, but it's important to communicate that you will come back to it. And don't just buy me flowers. We need to talk about this. So, and don't disappear on me. Don't say that you're gonna, don't say anything at all and just take off, and don't talk to me for 2 weeks, because that's, we you definitely need to talk about these things. You can't just disappear and then expect that it's going to be okay in 2 weeks without addressing it.